My dear respected brothers and sisters in Islam, a few days ago I had a knock on the door and I went downstairs and it was special delivery. And the man from Royal Mail, I greeted him with good morning, as you normally do. However, he did not reply, he said nothing. And then he gave me the parcel and he gave me the small pad on which you're supposed to add your signature. And he didn't say even a word. So I signed on the pad, I gave him the pad, and then he walked away and I said to him goodbye. And he didn't say anything. And then I thought to myself, why is this man so impolite? Why did he not greet me? Why did he not say anything to me? Usually these delivery men are quite friendly. Then I realized when I went inside the house again, that the reason why he did not speak to me was because he could not speak. The reason why he could not speak to me was because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not give him the gift of speech. And many of us, we take speaking for granted. This is something which is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My daughter, she is 1 year old and now she is speaking, she is starting to babble. She's starting to make sounds. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inspiring her to make sounds. And day by day, these sounds, they are becoming more intelligible. And slowly, inshallah, these sounds, they will become speech. And then eventually they will become eloquent speech. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has given us speech as a great gift. And not only this, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has made these sounds which emerge from our mouths different. Allah ta'ala says in the Quran, مِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ. That from His signs is the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the differing of your tongue and your colors. That people, they speak so many languages. I think I read somewhere in the world there are 5,000 languages. Of course, every language, there are different dialects. But I believe there are approximately 5,000 recognized languages. If you imagine, we came from Adam alayhi salam and his wife Hawa. You would expect everyone to speak the same language, coming from the same mother and father. However, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He wanted to show His power. He wanted to show His power that people, they speak different languages. And not only this, He wanted to show His power that some people cannot even speak. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has created people in opposites. You have the person who is as dark as the night, and you have another person who is fairer than snow. You have people who are extremely tall, and you have other people who come up to your knees. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown His power in the creation for those people who reflect. Today's khutbah is about the gift of speech, and I specifically wanted to mention the hadith of the 3 children who spoke in the cradle. These were 3 children, or 3 babies, who spoke in the cradle. Three babies who they were suckling on the breast of their mother. And then for some reason, they came off the breast. And maybe they were only a few months old. They came off the breast of the mother and they spoke miraculously. Some of the hadith, they say that the 3, they were Isa alayhi salam, Jesus son of Mary. And then we have Jurayj, and inshallah we'll come to the story of Jurayj. And then we have the story of the mother who wanted her baby to be like a rich man and not like a poor girl. Inshallah, coming to this story. There are also 2 other babies who spoke in the cradle who are not mentioned in this hadith. The first hadith I mentioned is found in the collection of Bukhari and Muslim. There are 2 other babies who spoke in the cradle, and they are the baby in the story of the people of the ditch, which I recalled a few months ago. And also the baby in the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, وَشَهِدَ شَاهِدٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا. That when Yusuf alayhi salam, he was accused of zina, then a baby spoke to clear Yusuf alayhi salam from this great crime. So today, inshallah, in the second khutbah, I will mention the stories of 3 babies who spoke in the cradle. However, before we reflect upon this, I wanted to speak about other things which speak. And today I wanted to mention in the first khutbah 3 things which speak. The first thing is, can you imagine that your limbs, they can speak, and your feet, they will speak, and your hands, they will speak. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says in the Quran, يَوْمَ تَشْهَدُ عَلَيْهِمْ أَلْسِنَتُهُمْ وَأَيْدِيهِمْ وَأَرْجُلُهُمْ بِمَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. A day will come when your tongues, they will speak. Not through your own free will, rather they will testify against you. If you did something wrong, then your tongues, they will testify against you, even though you will have no control over your tongues. And on this day, your feet, they will testify against you. If you went somewhere, you should not have gone. And on this day, your hands, they will speak and testify against you because you did something with your hand which you should not have done. So we see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He can make anything speak. So the limbs, they will testify on the day of judgment, either for or against the person who owns those limbs. The second thing I wanted to speak about in the first khutbah is that even animals, they can speak. In fact, animals do speak. As we know from the story of Sulaiman, the Prophet Sulaiman alayhi salam, that from one of the gifts he was given was that he could understand the language of animals. And nowadays you see dogs. Have you seen the way dogs, they behave in other animals? The dogs, they speak to one another in a language which we cannot understand. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He honored Sulaiman alayhi salam by giving him the skill to understand the language of animals. However, there is a hadith from the time of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and it's found in both Bukhari and Muslim, that once there was a shepherd, and the shepherd had sheep, and once the shepherd, he was resting, and a wolf came and took one of the sheep. So the shepherd, he got up with his stick and he beat the wolf. The wolf then let go of the sheep and he sat down. And then the wolf, he spoke to the shepherd. He spoke in the language of the shepherd, which was probably Arabic at the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the wolf said to the shepherd, why are you depriving me of that which Allah has given me? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has given me rizq. He has given me provision. And why do you deprive me of this provision? The shepherd, he was amazed. He said, how can this be? There is a wolf that speaks. And the wolf said to him, I will tell you something even more amazing than my speaking. I will tell you about a man who has come to Medina, and his name is Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he has come and he has spoken the truth. So then the man let the wolf go, and the man, he took his sheep to Medina, looking for the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So he asked that, where is this Muhammad? And eventually they found the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and the man, he told his story to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that this wolf, he spoke to me. Once the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam had heard this story, he assembled the people, and he said to them that this man told me an amazing story. And I swear by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who sent me with the truth, that the day of judgment will not be established until wild animals, they speak to people. So here we see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has the power of everything. Your limbs can speak, even an animal can speak, and from the time, at the end of time, even animals, they will speak. The third thing I wanted to mention, which speaks, is during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to deliver the khutbah, similar to I'm delivering the khutbah now. And he used to stand on a mimbar, which is like a raised platform, which is from the sunnah of giving the khutbah. And before he had a mimbar, he would stand on a palm tree, on the trunk of a palm tree. And eventually the companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they said that why don't we make a proper mimbar? So they carved a mimbar and they left the palm tree. During the khutbah, the companions, they heard a crying. They heard a crying noise, and they turned round, and the sound was coming from the actual palm tree itself. So the Prophet ﷺ, he got off the tree, he got off the mimbar, and he went to the palm tree, and he stroked the palm tree until the palm tree, just like you would stroke a child who is crying. The Prophet ﷺ, he stroked the palm tree until the palm tree calmed down. Then he returned and he continued to deliver his khutbah. Somebody may say that these stories, are they authentic? And I say to you that all the stories I have mentioned about the limbs, this is the Quran. About the wolf, this is in Bukhari. And about the palm tree crying, this is in Bukhari and Muslim. And we as Muslims should know that there are many things we cannot understand with our minds. That what we see in the dunya is only the tip of the iceberg. If you imagine an iceberg, you only maybe see 5% of the iceberg, and the rest of the iceberg is below the water level. So similarly, many things that are unseen, we do not see, and our minds cannot 100% comprehend. However, as soon as something is authentically narrated to us, then we should have firm iman in this thing. So in these three short incidents, we see the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how He gave us this gift of speech, and how if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so wishes, He could make anything speak, He so wishes. Sallallahu sallam ala nabina Muhammad wa sahbihi wa sallam. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalam ala Rasulil Kareem, amma ba'd. Having established the concept that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us speech as a gift, and we should know that Allah Ta'ala gave us this tongue. The tongue is a double-edged sword. It can work for you or it can work against you. And everyone owns their own tongue. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said, Kalimatani habibatani ila rahman خفيفتان على اللسان ثقيلتان في الميزان سبحان الله وبحمده وسبحان الله العظيم. He said there are two words which are very, very light on the tongue, beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and heavy in the scales. And they are subhanallah wa bihamdi wa subhanallah al-azim. So making all types of dhikr, this is heavy on the scales on the day of judgment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you a tongue, so use your tongue in the best way. And the best way is to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The best way is to speak the truth. The best way is to engage in da'wah. All of these things, they carry great reward on the day of judgment. And do not be of those who are the losers, who use their tongues in the wrong way. Free minutes means free backbiting, or free spreading of tales, or free slander of other Muslims. So be of those who value the gift of speech, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deprived some of speech for a divine wisdom. And others, He gave the gift of speech. So when I saw this postman walk away from my door, I thanked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I can move my tongue, alhamdulillah, and my voice box, it can project noise. Coming back to the khutbah, which is the story of the three babies who spoke in the cradle. And the narration I'm using is the narration of Isa alayhi salam being one of the babies, and Jurayj, and the third inshallah we will come to. The story of Isa alayhi salam as Christmas approaches is one we should all be familiar with. And we all know the story how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He created Isa alayhi salam with a mother and no father. This was to show the children of Israel as a sign of the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So when Maryam radiallahu anha, she conceived Isa alayhi salam, then she was very, very frightened. What would the people say? And at that time, zina was regarded as a crime. These days, if somebody fornicates, then no one will even think about it twice. Everybody's doing it. It's become the norm. However, in that time, it was something which was incredibly shameful, that a man should engage in an illegal relationship with a woman outside wedlock. So Maryam radiallahu anha, she went to her people. And the people immediately, they started to rebuke her. They started to attack her because she had brought shame upon her mother, upon her father, upon her whole family. And they said, Ya ukhta Harun, ma kana abuki imra'a sawin wa ma kanat ummuki baghiya. That, oh, the sister of Harun. This is not the Harun of Musa, this is another Harun. Oh, sister of Harun, your father, ma kana abuka imra'a sawin. Your father was not an evil man, nor was your mother a prostitute. How could you have done something like this and brought shame upon your family? In response to this, she did not know what to say. So Isa alayhi salam, Jesus son of Mary, he came off the breast of his mother and he spoke. He spoke to defend his mother in a time when there was no one else to defend her. فَأَشَارَتْ إِلَيْهِ. So she was inspired to point to Jesus son of Mary. And what did he say? The people, they said, قَالُوا كَيْفَ نُكَلِّمُ مَنْ كَانَ فِي الْمَهْدِ صَبِيًّا. How can we speak to a baby who is still in the cradle? And he said the incredible words. He said, قَالَ إِنِّي عَبْدُ اللَّهِ آتَانِيَ الْكِتَابِ وَجَعَلَنِي نَبِيًّا. That I am the slave of Allah. You don't say I am the God, or I am one of three, or anything like this. His first statement was that I am the slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. آتَانِيَ الْكِتَابِ. He gave me a scripture. وَجَعَلَنِي نَبِيًّا. And He made me a prophet. So we see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave this miracle of speech to a baby who normally does not speak, to defend his mother in a very, very difficult time. An equally beautiful story is the story of Jurayj, which is actually one of my favorite stories. And Jurayj was a very, very pious man. He was not a prophet in the time of the children of Israel. And he was a man who would worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by day and by night. And he would make dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he lived in a very, very simple accommodation. He had a small hut, and all he would do was worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So one day, Jurayj, rahmatullahi alayh, he was standing in prayer. And the prayer was very, very beloved to him. And his mother, she called him. Said, oh Jurayj, come to me. And Jurayj, rahmatullahi alayh, he did not know what to do. He said, Ya Rabb, ummi wa salati. Oh my mother, what should I do? Should I respond to my mother, or should I respond to my prayer? And as a general rule, the fard salah, you should not break the fard salah without a good reason. Like if somebody calls you on your mobile phone, then this is not a strong reason to abandon the salah and to answer a text message or a WhatsApp message. This is not a reason. However, with the nafl salah, there is more flexibility in the matter. If you need to leave the prayer, you can break the prayer and you can go and do what you wish. So Jurayj, he decided that he would carry on praying. And he, not because he wanted to disobey his mother, rather his prayer was so beloved to him. The second thing happened again the next day. His mother called him And then he made the dua, Ya Allah, said, Ya Rabbi, Ummi wa Salati, my mother or my prayer? Which one should I go to? On the third day, again, the same thing happened. And we should know responding to the parents is one of the greatest ibadat. Ibadat, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Anishkur li wa li walidayk. That thank me and then thank your parents. So your parents are alive, they are the most deserving of creation, of your honor and your time. So the third day this happened, his mother became very, very upset. And she made a dua against Jurayj. And again, a lesson here is, brothers and sisters, that fear the supplication of your parents. Because just like the supplication of a parent for a good son is responded to, similarly the curse of a parent could be responded to as well. So fear the dua of your parents and hope for the dua of your parents in something good. So his mother then made a dua, Ya Allah, do not let Jurayj die until he sees the face of a prostitute. And do not let him die, that corrupt him, let him see the face of a prostitute. So many of the Banu Israel, they were corrupt. And when they heard the dua of Jurayj, they said, this is our opportunity, let's corrupt Jurayj. Let's help him see the face of a prostitute. And looking at the face of a prostitute is more corrupting than looking at the face of just a beautiful woman in the street. Why? Because the prostitute, and you see them here on Preston Street and Lum Lane and other places, looking at the face of a prostitute, this is a woman that is selling herself. She's selling her body. So when you look at her face, the shaitan, he's even stronger. He's even stronger in trying to corrupt you. So Jurayj, he was worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala innocently in his hut. And Banu Israel, they came with a prostitute. They came with a prostitute and they paid her the money and they said, go to the hut of Jurayj. Go and show your face to Jurayj. So they went to Jurayj, and many of us, we think we're strong. That people, there's a hadith that whenever a woman and a man are together, and the third one is the shaitan. I read in an article where the sheikh, he said that whenever the internet and a man are together, and the third one is the shaitan. So the same hadith is applicable. The third one is the shaitan with the internet. So sometimes, you see the woman, you open your Facebook on the right-hand column, and you all know what's on the right-hand column. You open your Hotmail account, you open this, you open that, on everything there are images of naked women. This is the plan of the shaitan, is to corrupt the Muslim using these images. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Inna likulli ummatin fitna, wa fitnatu ummati mal." He said, every nation has a trial, something which will corrupt them, and the corruption of this nation is wealth. That this nation, the Ummah Muhammadiyah, the thing which will corrupt them most is love of money. However, the children of Israel, the thing which corrupted them most was women. That they had an insatiable appetite for women, and this corrupted them the most. I'll give you an example of corruption. Yesterday in the IslamBradford office, we found a CD. And some lowlife had posted a CD for the Imam, for the attention of the Imam of the IslamBradford Center. You know what the CD had in it? A pornographic movie. So somebody had sent these CDs to probably all the mosques in Bradford. So every Imam gets his own CD. Needless to say, we didn't watch the movie because it had a rude title. But, this is the way the shaitan works. And the problem with pornography, brothers, as a side step, the problem with pornography is that once this image enters your mind, then it leaves a trace in your mind. And you can't get rid of that image. And then it corrupts you. It's like a virus. Once you get a virus on your computer, it's very, very difficult to get rid of the virus. Once this virus corrupts you, you're corrupted. So somebody is sending these CDs to Imams for it to corrupt all our masajid. So they took this woman to Jurayj, and Jurayj didn't want anything to do with her. He said, go away, I don't want to look at this prostitute. So then the prostitute, she was very angered. She had been paid to go to Jurayj, and Jurayj didn't want any business. So then instead she went to a shepherd, and she presented herself to a shepherd, and she had an illegal relationship with this shepherd, and she became pregnant, and she gave birth to a baby. So then the rumor spread in the town that this baby is from Jurayj. So Jurayj is a pious man, and Jurayj now has had a relationship with this woman, and this woman has given birth to a baby. So the people, they were incensed. Among Banu Israel, there were some people who had honor and a clean society. They view zina or fornication as something which is filthy and dirty. So they went to the house of Jurayj and they tore the house down. And they were on the brink of beating of Jurayj for having had this relationship with this prostitute. So then Jurayj said to them that, wait, let me pray 2 rak'ah. And then he prayed 2 units of prayer. We see, brothers and sisters, here the importance of prayer. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. Seek help in sabr and in salah. So then he started to pray, and then he said, bring the baby here. And they brought the baby to him. And then he pressed the baby in his belly. And he said to the baby, that, who is your father? And the baby, who could not speak, again, this is the miracle. Just like Isa ibn Maryam, he spoke, and he said, my father is the shepherd. Then the people, they surrounded Jurayj, and they started to kiss Jurayj and apologize that we have made a terrible mistake. We have accused you of zina when this baby is actually the child of the shepherd. So similarly, in the case of Isa ibn Maryam, we find that this baby exonerated Isa alayhi salam, exonerated his mother, and similarly this baby exonerated Jurayj. So then they said to Jurayj that we will now build you a hut made of gold. However, Jurayj radiallahu anhu, he refused. He said, no, I have no need for this. So we see the second story of the three babies who spoke in the cradle. The third story of the third baby who spoke in the cradle is a story that once there was a woman and she had a baby. Now everybody has high aspirations for their children. They want their children to be probably a doctor or something amazing and have a big house and all the rest of it. So she saw a man on a horse and he was wearing expensive clothes, and she made the dua, Ya Allah, make my child, when he grows up, be like this man who is wealthy on a horse, has all the finery of life. And then the baby who was suckling on the breast of his mother, he came off the breast and said and spoke to the mother, Ya Allah, do not make me like this man. Do not make me like this man. And then went back and started to suckle the breast of his mother. Then in front of them passed a slave girl. And the people, they were beating the slave girl and accusing her of theft and of zina and fornication. And the mother made the dua, Ya Allah, never make my child like this baby. And the child came off the breast of his mother and said, Ya Allah, make me like this slave girl. So the woman, she was bewildered, that everybody wants to be rich, everybody wants all the trappings of life, everybody is addicted to the dunya. That why did the baby say this? So the baby for the third time came off the breast of his mother and said, Oh mother, that this man who is wealthy, he is arrogant, he's arrogant and he oppresses people. This is how he has become rich. And this girl who is being accused of theft and adultery, she is humble and she is close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and she is free of all these accusations of zina and theft. So here we see a lesson, brothers and sisters, how sometimes you see things and you want things, but not always they are good for you. Many times you want to be rich, but maybe sometimes being humble and just being normal and just having a moderate income, this is not beloved to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this is the key of a happier life. So always hankering after the wealth of this dunya, this is not always something which will satiate your appetite and make you happy. So this is really a beautiful story. So we see here several lessons from the three babies who spoke in the cradle. The first thing we see is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has awliya. And awliya doesn't mean somebody wearing a green turban or having an ID card, I am a wali. Rather, it means that somebody who is close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, somebody who engages in nafal ibadat, somebody who tries to be a good Muslim. All of us, we can be from the awliya of Allah, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He can help His awliya with karama, which is another word for miracle. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He can protect anybody, like He protected the mother of Jesus alayhi salam. He protected Jurayj, so in this kind of situation. We also show how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He responds to the dua of the Muslim when they are in a difficult situation. And we also understand from the final story that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He looks at your hearts. These are more important than your position and your lineage and your bank account. So don't become overly impressed by people who have money. Somebody has a big flash car, everyone respects them. Why? Where did he get the money from? What's he about? Is he a good Muslim or a bad Muslim? This is of more significance to his engine size. Final thing I wanted to mention about speech, having mentioned in the first khutbah that we should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about speech. We should be thankful to Allah, and this is a sign from Allah that we all speak in different ways. We can speak different languages. These are all miracles and signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the second khutbah we mentioned the story of 3 of the 5 babies in the sunnah who spoke in the cradle. The final thing I wanted to mention is that even Jahannam and Jannah, they speak. Even Jahannam and Jannah speak. And the Prophet ﷺ, he has said that there will be an argument between the hellfire and Jahannam. And they will have a competition. That who has more entrants, who will enter in the competition. So many people, they will go to Jahannam, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, and others, they will go to paradise. Allah, He makes us from them. So then Jahannam will say to Allah, Ya Allah, why do you make it such that only the proud and arrogant, they enter me? And then the paradise will say, Ya Allah, the paradise will say, Ya Allah, why do you only make the weak lowly and the poor into me? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will say to the Jahannam that you are my punishment, I use you to punish whoever I wish. And He will say to the Jannah, you are my mercy, I will use you to have mercy on whoever I wish, and each of you will have his fair share. So the right people, they will go to Jahannam, and the right people, they will go to Jannah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make our tongues full of His remembrance till the day we meet Him, and not to make our tongues those tongues that become addicted. Just like the eyes, they become addicted to pornography, the tongues, they become addicted to speaking about people and speaking about the honor of other Muslims and harming other Muslims. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for us to use our tongue in that which pleases Him, and to purify our hearts, because the most important thing is to have a pure heart. And the heart and the tongue and the heart and the eyes, they have direct connections. A clean heart means a clean tongue. A clean heart means controlling the eyes. So work on the tongue and the eyes, and inshallah everything else, bi'idhnillah, will follow, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran, يَوْمَ لَا يَنْفَعُ مَالٌ وَلَا بَنُونَ إِلَّا مَنْ أَتَى اللَّهَ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. That the day on which wealth and children, they will be of no benefit except for the one who comes with a pure heart, which includes a pure tongue and pure eyes. وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.